Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 4th of July and welcome to the newspaper analysis. So guys, let's start with the today's analysis of the Hindu newspaper. Before that guys, I would like to remind you that the explainer PDF that I am going to use, the PDF will be available at the Telegram channel. You can download it from there and you should have that PDF while following the newspaper analysis. Now guys, before starting up, first of all, let's take the overview of the entire newspaper today. So guys, here we can see that the first page, BJP nominee elected speaker in Maharashtra, trust vote today. So this political development going in Maharashtra is not at all important for our examination. No need to see this. Then moving on, tribal women set ablaze in MP over the land dispute. Not important again for our exam. Telangana needs a twin engine government. So Prime Minister has made a statement. Again, nothing is important. So guys, moving on, after that, after the fall of city, basically Russia stakes the claim to the Luhansk. So the Luhansk province has been a province in the Ukraine, and the Russia wants the autonomy of the Luhansk in the Donbas region of the Ukraine. Okay, so now the Russia had claimed it, that it is the Russian part. Fine. However guys, as this particular thing is evolving, this Russian Ukraine war will evolve, it will change a lot. So everyday development of this Russia Ukraine war is not to be seen, because by the time your exam will come, this Russia Ukraine war would be changed to something altogether different thing. Okay, then moving on, in the city page, find the regional news etc have been given. Okay, nothing is important with respect to the UPSC in this particular direction. The advertisements have been given. Then guys, moving on, directly reach to the editorial page. Please don't waste time in reading unnecessary news that are there in the between. The meaning of the dynasty Mukt Bharat. So this particular article talks about that how the BJP is trying to make India opposition free in the name of the dynasty Mukt Bharat. What is the political agenda of the BJP and all these things. So it is a politically inclined article, therefore not important for the exam. Then wake up call. So guys, this is talking about the landslide incidents that have happened in the Manipur. So with respect to disaster management, we'll see this particular article. Below article, technologies no panacea for the custodial death. We'll see this guys with respect to the exam. Then the dodged by the inflation. So guys, it is talking about the inflation data. Okay, basically the different sectors, what have been the inflation rate, how it is increasing. A lot of data, PIMA index, a lot of data has been provided in this entire article. However guys, I tell you every then and now that inflation, CAD, what is the present percentage, it will change every coming month. Fine. So such data is not needed to be taken care of. Why is a defection non-issue for voters? So guys, there are some good references provided in this article. We'll see this. Then a plan for the urgent national plan for electrical safety. We'll see this particular thing. Then the strains on the India-Russia defense cooperation is being discussed here. Then guys, the functioning of the NIA is being discussed. We'll take that one also. Then beyond male and female, the right to humanity. Very good article. We'll take this one also. Then moving on. After that guys, the page number 10, curfew was there into the Udaipur, which have been relaxed, not the concern of our examination. Fine. After that, all the articles here which have been given in this particular page, not at all important for your exam, you don't need to see here. Then here we can see that it has been provided that now Indians can get rupees 10 lakh from the relatives abroad. So Home Ministry has is amending the FCRA. FCRA stands for the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. So guys, earlier, see, if any money is to be accepted from the foreign country, there is a one particular limit. Earlier the limit was 1 lakh rupees. If you need to accept more than 1 lakh rupees from foreign country, even from your relative, you need to take an approval for that. Now this 1 lakh has been increased to 10 lakh. Just that thing is provided here. Then moving on, page number 11, find the political news have been given in this entire page. Okay, no need to see this particular thing. After that guys, not only the Bengal, the center owes MG Narega funds to many other states. So basically when we talk about guys, the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, under this particular scheme, 100 days of guarantee employment is to be provided to at least one member of every rural household. Is it clear? It provides a right, right to work as a matter of their legal entitlement. Now under the MG Narega, the center government provides the funding to the state government, but guys, since this year, the states such as the Bengal etc, they have not received the MG Narega funding. They are not able to pay for the wages. Clear? Then here, GI tag for Mayur, bhanja and chutney. We'll see this particular article with respect to the exam. Such kind of things come. Then guys, today is the Monday, so on Monday we don't have the business page. Today there is a money wise page. This money wise page talks about the investing advices, the SIPs, okay, mutual funds and all these kind of things. So with respect to exam, not much relevant page. Then Russia shelling kills many in Slovakia. Okay, so Russia Ukraine war. Mass testing is the new normal in the China's capital. So now China has a particular strategy, that is the zero COVID cases, and for that testing is huge that is going on. Okay, then we have the sports page. So this is guys all about the overview of the today's newspaper, and I hope that by seeing the overview of the newspaper you are now able to identify which articles are going to be important for our exam. Now let's take all these relevant articles one by one in the detail. Now first of all, as we'll be starting with the GS quote for today. So guys, today we'll take the quote from the William Shakespeare, one of the most notable author that ever lived. He says that no legacy is so rich as the honesty. No legacy, no heritage fine could be as important, as rich, as fulfilling as the legacy of honesty is. Nothing could be compromised, nothing could be more important than honesty. Now guys, the William Shakespeare's view is very much similar to the view of the Socrates. Now the Socrates have provided this particular thing, that the virtues are the most important thing, they can never be compromised. Now honesty happens to be an important virtue. So Socrates, William Shakespeare, they believe that the virtues and honesty is uncompromisable. Directly this particular quotation can be used in the GS paper number 4, topic number 1, ethics and human interface, as well as into the topic of foundational values. Fine. So that is all guys about the GS quote, and now let's take the first article. Okay, so this is guys the article taken from the text and the context, beyond male and female, the right to humanity. Now this particular article, first of all, it is taken from the archives section. It means that this article might have come earlier. Now this particular article is talking about one very important judgment, the judgment of the Nalsa judgment, which is a very instrumental judgment for the transgender community. Now guys, this particular thing is going to be very important for our GS paper number 1, issues of Indian society, as well as GS paper number 2, within the topic of the social justice. Within the social justice, we have the vulnerable sections of society, and within the vulnerable section of society, we have the transgenders. So social justice, transgender people, GS paper number 2 also, this article is going to be very important. Now guys, this article talks about the Nalsa judgment, but before going in this Nalsa judgment, I would like to tell you some of the background information that you need to understand before having a conceptual clarity. First of all guys, we all hear this particular word LGBT. Okay, what the LGBT means, how exactly the transgender are the different people, then the bisexuals and all these things will understand. First of all guys, L stands for lesbians, G stands for gays. Now lesbians are the women whose sexual preference is the other fellow women. Lesbians as well as gays, these are the homosexuals. So lesbians, these are the girls who have the sexual preference for other fellow girls. Gays, these are the male who have the sexual preference for other male. So we call both lesbians and the gays as homosexuals. Fine. Then guys, we have bisexuals. B stands for bisexuals. Now what is bisexuals? Bisexual is one person who has sexual orientation towards both male as well as female. So a girl, if she is a bisexual, she will have the sexual preference for both male as well as a female, and the same goes for a male bisexual person. Then comes this particular word, transgender. So guys, what these transgenders are now? Now listen very carefully, the transgender, what are they? See, there are two concepts. One is the sex and other is gender. One is sex and other is gender. Now when we talk about the sex, we get the concept of male as well as we get the concept of female. When we talk about the gender, we get the concept of man, and we get the concept of woman. Is it clear or not? Now guys, see, basically when a person is male, okay, whether a person is a male or female, how you'll know? You'll know when the person will be born by seeing the person's genitals. You can say that whether a person is male or whether the person is female. Is it clear? Now, so basically a person is male. Okay. Now, because a person is male, from him a masculinity will be expected. from him a kind of a masculinity will be expected. Because he's male, his sex is male, he will be tried that he should behave like a man. Okay, masculinity, he should not show his pain. Okay, he should take the charge over the things, he should be the major decision maker. So masculinity will be expected. And if a person's gender is female, then from her a femininity, a sense of femininity will be expected. Fine, it will be expected that she should not be outspoken, she should be caring. Okay, she might reflect her emotions. Fine, it is okay for her. So from male we expect masculinity, from female we expect femininity. Basically it is expected that your sex and your gender should match. Your sex and your gender should match. But sometimes some people's sex and gender don't match. What it means? It means that by the sex they will be male, but they will dress, they will behave like the female. Okay, for example, they feel more comfortable as having, they feel more comfortable by showing the femininity. So male are comfortable in showing femininity, and sometimes the female, they are more comfortable in showing the masculinity. So here what has happened, your sex and your gender are not matching. So these people, they are the transgenders. Okay, so biologically they might be male, but psychologically, socially, they might behave like the females. So these are the transgenders. Is it clear or not? Fine. Now guys, transgenders, they don't have any biological issue, they don't have any biological deformity. Is it clear or not? After that, there are the trans sex people. Trans sex people are those people whose genitals are not properly developed as per their sex. Okay, so the trans sex, these are the different kind of people. There is a biological, okay, there will be some disbalance into the chromosomes, there might be some hormonal disbalance, but into the transgender, no such kind of problem is there. They are like us only. Okay, this is the issue that is going on. Now guys, after understanding this particular concept, there are some other things also you need to understand. Now there is the section number 377. Now section 377 has actually criminalized the homosexuality. It has criminalized the homosexuality. Moreover, section 377, it basically, as it criminalizes the homosexuality, it has always been a matter of debate. Now, what had happened, when we talk about the journey of the section 377 in this particular direction, what happened, first of all, 2009 there was a judgment given by the Delhi High Court. Delhi High Court says that the section 377 is irrational. Homosexuality is a person's own preference. If he want to carry the sexual activity with his own person belonging to his own gender, not at all a problem. So section 377 was decriminalized by the Delhi High Court. However guys, what happened in 2013, the Supreme Court then overruled the Delhi High Court judgment. Supreme Court ruled in one case called as the Naz Foundation case. In the Naz Foundation case, Supreme Court's logic was this, that if the section 377, which criminalizes the homosexuality, if this section was to be struck, then this particular initiative should have come by the parliament. Delhi High Court doesn't have any power in this particular regard. So the Supreme Court into the Naz Foundation case again revived the section 377. It means the homosexuality again became a kind of a offense. Okay. Now guys, as this particular thing was going on, 2014, there is one more judgment that came. This judgment was the Nalsa judgment. This was the Nalsa judgment of 2014. Now this Nalsa judgment has been very much important, particularly for the transgender people. And in this particular judgment, now the Nalsa judgment has been discussed. Is it clear or not? Now I will discuss this entire Nalsa judgment in this particular article. But guys, if I tell you a very bigger picture, there is one more development that has happened. Now this another development is the Puttaswamy case. Puttaswamy case. Puttaswamy case. Now what is the Puttaswamy case? So basically, it is the Navtej Singh Johar case. Navtej Singh Johar case. Now Navtej Singh Johar case was of 2018. Now in the Navtej Singh Johar case, the section 377, which was revived by the Supreme Court, this particular section has again been struck. Again, the homosexuality has been decriminalized. So what is the status today? Today the status, as of now, the status is that the section 377 is decriminalized. Homosexuality is not a crime. Why this particular thing happened? Because finally the matter got settled into the Navtej Singh Johar case in 2018 by the Supreme Court. Now this particular article mentions about this judgment, 2014 judgment of the Nalsa judgment of 2014. Now moving on further. Okay, now moving on. What is this entire issue? Let's discuss it. Okay. Now guys, first of all, as I have already told you that in 2013 there was the Nas Foundation ruling of Supreme Court. This Nas ruling of 2013 has actually impacted the prestige of the Supreme Court. It had impacted the reputation of the Supreme Court, because it was said that the Supreme Court is anti-progress. Supreme Court is anti-liberal. Supreme Court is not showing a kind of a progression. Why? Because it has criminalized against the homosexuality. In this particular background, the 2014 judgment of the Nalsa was very much important. What happened in this particular judgment, guys? In this judgment, Supreme Court recognized that the third gender category needs to be accommodated into the government policy making. Before the Nalsa judgment, a person has to certify his or her gender, and only two options were there. Either you have to certify yourself as male, or you have to certify yourself as female. But the problem with respect to the transgender people were there. What was the problem with respect to the transgender people? Suppose there is a person, his name is A. Now biologically the person is man, biologically the person is male, but actually he feels more comfortable in the body of a woman. He behaves like a woman, he feels like a woman, he dresses like a woman, so he connects with female, but biologically the person is male. You're understanding my point? He connects with the female, but biologically the person is male. So now which gender the person will choose? If the person chooses the gender of male, but masculinity is missing, but if he chooses the gender of female, then the biologically he is not female. So this was a problem. Many a times they were refused the job. Why? Because their gender was not very much clear. Many a times many of the rights were refused to them. So basically in the Nalsa judgment, what happened? Nalsa judgment, Supreme Court said that the non-recognition of these different gender identities, it violates the right to equality, it violates the right to life of these transgender people. It is being said that the transgender should not be forced, they should not be compelled to identify themselves as man or women. Okay, see, we have created a society where we have just assumed that there will be only a binary of gender. A person either will be a male or a female or a man or a woman, but no, there could be different gender identities also, such as the transgender. So they should not be compelled that they have to be either a man or the female. This was provided. It is provided that sometimes when only two gender identities, male or female, are being recognized, and on that particular basis education is provided, jobs are provided, other entitlements are provided, these people they left behind. Their access to education, healthcare, public places, fine, they are not given, and the discrimination against these people happen. They are not given the right to vote, employment, driving license is not given, many documentation, gender is being asked. So therefore the transgenders, I am putting it in a nutshell that what happened. It happened that number one, transgender should not be compelled to identify as male or female. A third gender category has to be recognized. In all the government forms, a third gender category option needs to be there. Now, why Supreme Court came out with this particular ruling? So Supreme Court actually relied on to the United Nations Human Rights multiple provisions, as well as on the Yogya Karta guidelines. Yogya Karta principle. Now the Yogya Karta principle has provided this thing that there are certain sexual minorities. You might have heard about the religious minorities, racial minorities, but the sexual minorities. Who are the sexual minorities? Transgender people. So no discrimination should be there. They should be identified as a third category. Now guys, it has been provided by the Supreme Court. A very powerful line has been used directly. Please use it in your answer. What Supreme Court says? Supreme Court says that a person is free to choose any bodily appearance that a person wants. I am a man, I want to dress like a woman, it is my choice. Fine, you should not have any problem with that. Basically, the Supreme Court said that the gender identity, green one, the gender identity is about self-identification. Is it clear? You yourself will define that what you are. You are a man or you are a woman. Biologically, it is a different thing. You yourself will define. Now, guys, very important point is coming. Fine. During this particular judgment, one very important, more conceptual clarity was given by the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said this thing, that gays, lesbians, bisexuals, they will also be called as a transgender. They said that transgender is an umbrella term. So the lesbians, gays, bisexuals, they will also be called as a transgender. Technically, what transgenders are, I told you in the first. You keep that particular thing in your mind. But now, within the transgenders, these LGBTs will also be coming. Fine. Now, guys, further, when we talk about the NALSA judgment has been very much important because they provided that, they provided a social construction of the gender. Okay. Moreover, it also recognized that the third gender will be recognized. They provided that all the fundamental rights that are available to man and women, male and female, all these fundamental rights will also be available to the third gender. For example, the right to vote, right to own property, right to marry, right to claim a formal identity, right to have a passport, right to have a driver license, right to have a ration card. Everything need to be made available to them, need to be made accessible to them. And the NALSA judgment was very important for the transgender people. Is it clear or not? Guys, now why we are talking about the NALSA judgment now? Because what had happened few months back, there was a news that came, and a very positive news was there, that a transgender person has been allowed to be a pilot, and the person was going under training. But now we find that that person is a Zomato food delivery agent. Why he is delivering the food on Zomato? Because actually he was denied flying. Why? Because he was on some hormone therapy. So actually the Supreme Court has came out with something, but it is not being implemented. This is a very big issue that is there. So it is all about this, and I hope you have understood it. Now we'll move to the next article. Okay, the functioning of the NIA, National Investigation Agency. Now, why NIA is coming in the news? Because, guys, first of all, what had happened, we find this, that there is the killings that have happened into the Udaipur. Now the government has decided that the investigation in the killings that have happened, it will be carried by the NIA. So therefore NIA is in news. Second more reason is there that NIA is in news, and will take academic reason. What happened basically, guys, just in 2021, anti-trafficking bill was actually brought. Anti-trafficking bill was brought. In this anti-trafficking bill, again the NIA was given authority that it will carry the investigation. So NIA as a body is coming repeatedly into the news. We'll see this particular thing today. So let's discuss it. Fine, from the scratch. Okay, and where it will be important? It will be important in GS paper number 3, security agencies. Okay, along with the security agencies, enforcement agencies could be there. So enforcement agencies and their mandate. So under the enforcement agencies and their mandate, NIA will come. Let's discuss that. What is this? Okay. Now, guys, first of all, when we talk about the NIA, it stands for the National Investigation Authority. National Investigation Authority. Now, the National Investigation Authority, it was a specialized wing for the investigation in the cases where the terrorism has been there, or where there has been a breach, there has been some national interest has been breached, etc. Now, NIA's idea actually came after the 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. So the Ajmal Kasab's attack of 26/11, fine, that heinous crime that happened. After that, there was found that there was some intelligence gaps, there were some intelligence lapses. Okay, Headley, which was a mastermind in bombing, he many times came in Delhi and in India, and there was a lot of planning that was there, but our investigation was not very much strong. So this NIA as a premier agency for investigation was established. It was said that all the offenses which are impacting the sovereignty of the country, security, integrity of country, friendly relation with the foreign states, implementation of the UN treaties, etc. Wherever these subjects are concerned, there the investigation will be taken by NIA, National Investigation Agency. Now, guys, actually, if you want to be more clear on this particular thing, these are actually the acts, these are actually the areas where the NIA will carry the investigation. Now, you download this PDF from the Telegram channel, and if you want, you can read it. I'll just read 3-4. For example, Explosive Substance Act. If any offense is filed under this particular act, NIA will do investigation. Atomic Energy Act, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, Anti-Hijacking Act, suppression of unlawful act against the safety of civil aviation, SARC convention, suppression of unlawful act safety on maritime navigation. So these acts are there. You don't need to read or remember all of them. You just remember this broad mandate of NIA: sovereignty, security, friendly relation. There the NIA will come. Now guys, when we talk about the NIA, recently in 2020, there is one more area where the NIA has been given a power. If there is any offense filed under the Narcotic Drug and Psychotropic Substance Act, there also the NIA will be probing, it will be carrying the investigation. So this is a new mandate that has been given. Now guys, when we talk about the NIA can investigate, or the NIA's scope is actually very wide. All the Indian citizens living in India, living outside the country, any person in any of the government service, okay, any person posted on any ship, on any aircraft which is registered in India, okay, so they all will be covered into the scope of NIA. Very wide scope has been given. Now guys, when we talk about the NIA, fine, if any case has been filed, state government can refer this particular case to the Union Home Ministry, that is the Ministry of Home Affairs. And if Ministry of Home Affairs want, then the Ministry of Home Affairs can give that particular case to the NIA. Okay, only after MHA is satisfied that the case that has been referred by the state government is fit to be handled by NIA. Moreover, MHA can also ask the National Investigation Authority, suo motu also, that you go and you investigate that particular case. So this is the NIA that is there. Clear? I hope guys that you have understood it. Now we'll move to the next article. Okay, so measuring the plastic problem. Okay, so guys, this particular infographic that we have taken, it is talking about the state of India's environment 2022 report. Okay, now why these plastic waste, these articles are coming from past few days? There is actually a background behind this particular thing which you should know first. So we will discuss this article in just few minutes. Before that, let's discuss some of the background. So guys, actually the story started in 2019. What happened in 2019? India attended the United Nations Environment Agency's summit, 4th summit. Okay, so in 2019, United Nations Environment, basically UNEA, the summit was attended by India, and here India declared this particular thing, that by 2022 India will eliminate the single-use plastics. By 2022, India will eliminate the single-use plastics. This was the commitment that we have taken in 2019. Now what happened? Basically, 2021 last year, India came out with the plastic waste management rules. Under this plastic waste management rule, India had provided number one, that from July 2022, India will completely abandon the single-use plastics. What are the single-use plastics? Single-use plastics are the plastic poly bags that have a single use. Okay, if you buy a cigarette pack, around the cigarette pack there is a wrapping, it is a single-use plastic. Straws, stirrers, okay, these are the single-use plastics. So all these single-use plastics are to be banned from 1st July, and already the July has started. So this is something, and now we are seeing that whether this particular thing has come in force or not. Second guys, as the part of this plastic waste management rule, government also provided this thing, that actually the thickness of the poly bags, okay, the bags which could be used multiple times, plastic bags, their thickness is to be increased to 120 microns. So earlier it was 50, and now minimum 120 micron thickness needs to be there. Now you need to understand that why we are specifically focusing on this 120 micron reason. See, if a thick plastic bag can only be manufactured, obviously it will be expensive, and if it will be expensive, the cost element will come there, people will use it less. Secondly guys, in India, the waste collection is done by the informal sector workers, and these informal sector workers, actually they don't have any incentive in collecting these thin flimsy plastic bags. If they will be little bit thick, they will also have an incentive to collect them, to recycle them, to reuse them. So okay, so therefore we need to increase the thickness of the plastic bags. Now guys, this report, that is the State of India's Environment 2022 report, it provides the prevalence of the plastic waste in India. Okay, so there is some data that has been provided. Now number one, it has been provided that actually First of all, guys, there is a concept of the mismanaged waste. Now, what is this mismanaged waste? Mismanaged waste is any waste which might be ending up into the ocean, which might be ending up into the seas of the world. So for example, you had dumped the waste into the river will meet the ocean, so the river will carry that particular waste to the ocean. So every waste that might end up into the sea, it is called as the mismanaged waste, sorry. Now in 2019, India has actually produced 9.5 kg of mismanaged waste per person, to 9.5 kg of mismanaged waste per person, which is very much high. This much waste multiplied, this many kgs multiplied 140 crore, it is ending up into oceans. Now guys, basically the article talks about the prevalence of plastic in India. So here we can see that actually, first of all, the 35% of plastics in India, they are the multi-layered packaging. For example, you eat a chocolate, so in chocolate there will be first primary wrapping, that within that chocolate there will be one wrapping. Is it clear? So these multi-layered wrappings or multi-layered packagings, these are the highest category of the waste, 35%. They are non-recyclable at a commercial scale. Okay, they cannot be recycled. Obviously, a packing of a chocolate could not be used at somewhere else, so recycling potential is very less. Then the second comes 31% plastic in India is the low density polyethylene. Now what are these low density polyethylenes? These are very cheap and very flimsy quality of plastics. For example, the wrapping that you find around containers, okay, the wrapping that you find out are around a cigarette pack, okay, so they are there. That 31% of plastic waste is made by them. Then pet no sorry after that, the next is polypropylene, 14%, pp, polypropylene, pp. Now these are those type of plastics which are durable, which can withstand heat, pressure. For example, the serving balls, the kind of containers that you use into the microwaves, the car parts, okay, all of them, they are a kind of a, basically all of them, they are coming in this particular category, fine, pp. Then the pet. Okay, so pet, these are the pet bottles. For example, the containers of plastic which carry food. For example, the Coke bottle, Pepsi bottle, that is a pet bottle, we call it. This type of plastic is 12%. And then there is a high density polyethylene. Now high density polyethylene is those kind of polyethylene, okay. Polyethylene, for example, the plastic bags in which your milk comes, okay, so milk plastic bags, okay, all these kind of things. And guys, very much notorious is this polystyrene. This is polystyrene. Now what is this polystyrene? It is around 1%. So if you have drink a let's say if you have taken a tea from a roadside tea stall, he will be giving you tea in a thermocol type of cup, okay. So many disposable food plates, etc., they are made up of some white color thermocol type of stuff. So this is the polystyrene. Now this is the worst type of plastic. From the environmental point of view. Recycling it, reusing it, okay, is very much difficult in this. So this is, guys, the instances. Now see, you don't need to read exactly the percentage, but you need to see which is the highest. Moreover, guys, in the prelims exam, now they are asking these type of questions. For example, they can give you the example that, okay, plastic cup, okay, or the cup or the disposable plastic cup, it will be which type of plastic, will be it PS, HBD, PET, or these kind of things. So you please have a little bit idea about that. Now moving to the next one, wake up call. So this particular article, guys, taken again from the Hindu newspaper, and it is talking about the Manipur landslides that have happened. Every day you might be reading the news. So this is a article. First of all, this article is going to be important in GS paper number 3, the disaster management. So let's discuss this particular article, guys. First of all, what happened? The landslide happened into the Manipur. Now this landslide is inviting other disasters also. For example, after this landslide, the Ijai river in the Manipur, it got blocked because of the debris that came. Because the river got blocked, now there is also the fear of the flooding that is also there into the Manipur. So the landslide is triggering the flood. This is the double jeopardy of the disasters that right now we are seeing. Moreover, guys, the problem is that even the Ministry of Environment, it has acknowledged that this disaster, the Manipur landslide, was a anthropogenically induced disaster. anthropogenically induced disaster means the one which has been there because of the human interference, because of the humans actions. So actually guys, what happened into the Manipur, the landslide that has happened, it is around the site where the railway construction was being done. Okay, now the Ministry of Environment had said that into the Manipur, okay, into the Manipur, what has happened, there is a severe modification of the slopes that have happened. So mountain slopes, they have been unnecessarily and modified. Then construction is going on, widening of the roads is going on, quarrying of the construction materials from the mountains is being done. Fine, there is the fragile lithography, geological structures are very much complex, they are being disturbed because of the construction, because of the widening of road and all these things. It has impacted the fragile ecosystem, it have impacted the region, and landslide has happened. Now guys, it has been said that, see, government, they don't carry the process. For example, the sufficient soil and stability test is to be carried in a process. If any infrastructure project is being made, you are laying a railway line, you just test the soil, stability test is needed, that whether the region is stable or not. Without that, we see these kind of landslides, they always happen. Now guys, basically this is a very important point, you can mention it anywhere, any disaster question coming with respect to landslides. Now I'll tell you one more thing also. From past 2 years, landslides are a very big problem. Last year the landslide was in the Himachal Pradesh, Kinnaur. This year Manipur landslide is there. Now there is a landslide, national landslide susceptibility mapping project, national landslide susceptibility mapping project, that is there. But guys, it also was not able to identify this. Now guys, even India is also working onto the early warning system onto the landslide, so that landslides could be identified before they begin and corrective measures could be taken. So this early warning systems onto the landslides is being prepared by the Geological Survey of India, but still it is work in progress and it needs to be done as soon as possible. Now guys, understanding this particular thing, that as we are talking about the landslides and all these kind of things, the biggest reason is the human interference into the environment, into these kind of things. Therefore, deforestation, non-interference into the humans, responsible development is the thing that is to be taken if these things are avoided. That is all about this article. Now we'll move to the next article. Okay. Now guys, technology is no panacea for custodial death. This particular article will see with respect to the GS paper number 2 as well as GS paper number 4. GS paper number 2, criminal justice reforms. GS paper number 4, ethics. Okay. Now let's see this particular thing. So guys, basically it has been said that in India, high number of custodial deaths have been there. Custodial deaths means the people who die in the police custody either during the interrogation or during some other processes. Now if I tell you the data between 2011 and 2018, okay, between year 2011 to 2018, 1727 people actually died into the police custody, but only 26 policemen, they were convicted that they have led to such kind of deaths. So many high custodial deaths, but the police, its accountability is not being tagged. Now the article talks about the idea of the compassionate policing. So fine, so the police personnel, they need to have a compassion while dealing with the prisoners. They should not have that heavy handedness. Technology have been proposed as a solution many number of times, but technology cannot be ultimate solution. At the end of the day, the ultimate solution will be the ethics, compassion within the police. Now first of all, there are many of the technological solutions that could be there. Let's understand them one by one. Number one technological solution could be installing the body cameras. Body cameras could be installed onto the police so that they know that they have not physically harassed a person. There could be also the installation of automated external defibrillators. Now what are these AEDs? Basically sometimes people, they, because of some injuries, because of some kind of attack, they face sometimes they cardiac arrest kind of situations get developed. So these devices, they send an electrical pulse or shock to the heart, and the heartbeat is revived again if in case a person has a missing heartbeat. So this is something that could be used. After that guys, many times why the police goes for torture which leads to the death, it is because of the interrogation process. So guys, people are using the police are using third degree and all these kind of things. Rather than that, scientific solutions are there. For example, deception detection test. deception detection test by which we can know that a person whether he is speaking truth or lie. In this capacity, polygraph test is there, narco analysis is there, brain mapping exercise could be there. By this, the information could be elicited from a person. It is not needed that you should commit violence against the person. Then guys, there is also the brain fingerprinting system. Brain fingerprinting system. Now what is brain fingerprinting system? It is a technique by which the deep embedded or hidden information from a person's brain can be retrieved. Now this brain fingerprinting system, in 2018 a person got convicted, okay, by this BFS. So these high-end technologies such as the brain fingerprinting, narco analysis, polygraph, okay, these tests are to be used rather than the third degree that is being taken up. Moreover, today you see the artificial intelligence and machine learning has also been advanced very much. So what can happen? The machine learning, through the artificial intelligence, a person's facial expression can be observed, whether his emotions are getting changed or not, they can be observed, and by that artificial intelligence can tell us that whether a person is speaking lie or whether a person is speaking truth. So this is something where the technology can help us. All these things guys independently also in your answers in GS2 3 you can use them. But this article says that see, technology is there, very good, fine, but technology also have some its limitations. For example guys, sometimes the artificial intelligence, the robotic interrogations, they might be biased, sometimes they might give a wrong result. See, there is one saying in the course of justice, it is said that you don't punish 100 guilty people, not a problem, but even one innocent person should not be punished. If 100 guilty people are not being punished, not a big problem, but a one innocent person should not be punished. Okay, sometimes because the biasness is there, sometimes the robotic interrogations might be wrong people will get implicated, so therefore it has a limitation. Now guys, it is being said that rather than these kind of things, police needs to be compassionate, police needs to be sensitive, police needs to be responsible. A multi-pronged strategy in the policing is needed. Legal enactments, technology, and along with that accountability and training of the police personnel is to be done. It is also being provided that we need to actually bring an amendment into the Indian Evidence Act. It was suggested by the Law Commission. Now basically guys, understand this concept. The onus of proof should be onto the police and not onto the person who has committed a crime. Dekho, what does this mean? Suppose a crime has been committed. Now the onus could be on a person that he has to prove that he is innocent. Or the onus can be on police that the police has to prove that he is actually guilty. Okay, a very little difference is there. For example, a person is implicated for murder. Now this is a person's responsibility that he will give evidence that I have not committed it. On another hand, you can put a responsibility on police, that police has to come out with evidence that the person has actually did it. Okay, so the onus needs to be put on the police, not onto the persons. Now guys, when we talk about the custodial torture, there is one judgment also, the DK Basu versus State of West Bengal judgment. In this DK Basu, the Supreme Court has provided very clearly that there cannot be any case of the torture. Moreover, Prevention of Torture Bill 2017 was floated. It has not been brought. Moreover, there is also one United Nations Convention Against Torture, okay, which India had not ratified. So we need to do that also. So these are all the issues in this particular respect. I hope guys that you have understood it. And now we'll move to the next article. Okay, why is defection a non-issue for voters? So this article we'll see with respect to the GS paper number 2. GS2. Now what this particular article is all about, guys, see, we have seen recently the political crisis going in the Maharashtra. Okay, so in the Maharashtra's political crisis, where now new government has been made, the case of defection came. Okay, now what is a defection? First of all, defection is the MLAs or the MPs, or let's say the legislators of one political party, they are changing their political party, defecting to another political party. This is called as a defection, and the defection is not tolerable. It is actually not allowed as per the anti-defection law of India, which was added in the 10th schedule by the virtue of 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act. Already this anti-defection law, where the defections are not allowed, I have discussed in much detail, and in the previous week, I think 4 or 5 times I have these kind of articles have also come where I have told you that we have discussed it. Now, today it is being said that देखो, there is law, but still the defections are happening. People are not, the legislators, they are not demoralized, they are not demotivated that they should not go for the defection. Still, they are doing that particular thing. Now, this article says that it has something to do with the voters, something to do with the voters. So article says that actually the voters, they are not concerned that whether a person is defecting, whether he is changing the political party or not. It is being said that in India, the voters, they actually focus more on the party. They vote for a party, not for a member. Honesty of a member, integrity of a member is not actually very much important to the voters in India. Now guys, in this particular capacity, okay, we have a lot of evidence. For example, the national election studies. Now national election studies have identified the people's voting behavior, and in 2014 they found that the 58% of the voters, they mentioned that they are going to vote for the party, not for the person. 33% people say that actually they'll vote for the candidate, and this particular number was around 52%. Okay, 52% people in 2019 election also, they voted for the party. So basically, a person is defecting or not, his personal character, his personal accountability is not a concern to the voter, because he never voted onto the face of that particular person. This is the reason that is there. Now, further, this particular thing has been provided that this particular approach is prevalent amongst the both uneducated as well as the educated voters. Okay, so party centric voting is there in India. This is the reason that when the defectors are even joining the popular party, they are again getting re-elected, because if the face of the party is good, okay, the person is going to get elected. This is something that has happened. Now guys, basically we need to strengthen the anti-defection law, and we need to make sure that the people who have been defected, they are not coming back into the office. What could be done? Any person who has defected, he should be disqualified mandatorily for the 6 years. He should not be allowed to fight the next election. Now this particular thing will be a deterrent to many of them. They will not defect. Okay, so that is all about this particular article, and now we'll move to the next article. We need an urgent national plan on electrical safety. Now what this particular article is all about, guys, this article talks about the election, so much of the electricity related accidents that are happening. So basically, electrical accidents are, guys, like this, that suppose there was a kind of a wire that was going from your terrace. That wire, a person touched that particular wire, and then he faced some injury, he got electrocuted. So these are the electrical accidents that are there. Now today we are actually enhancing the electricity transmission infrastructure, electricity lines. 24/7 electricity is to be provided to the households. It is also increasing the threat of the electrical accidents that can happen. Now, according to the data by the National Crime Record Bureau, the number of electric accidents, or the accidents by the electric shocks, have increased. There were 0.36 deaths per lakh. 0.36 people were dying because of the electric shocks in 1990, and now it has increased to 1.13 death per lakh population. 2020 data. According to the Central Electricity Authority, data is also very much similar, that around more than one person every lakh are dying because of the electrical shocks. So therefore, it has been provided that further, when we analyze the cases that where these electric shocks were there, 90% of the people who died due to the electrical shocks, they were the general public. They were not the people working in electricity utility, they were not the technicians, etc. These were the general public. And these electrical accidents, majority of them are happening into the rural areas. So the question is that the transmission lines are being erected, okay, infrastructure is being developed, but the safety of infrastructure is not a very big concern. Whether the wires should not go near the house of a person, okay, wires should not be of substandard quality, this thing is not being focused. So poor design, poor construction, inadequate maintenance, inadequate production, they lead to the electrical shocks. According to now, what could be the way forward in this particular direction? So Central Electricity Authority had provided that they have actually installed the mechanism. It had issued the advisories with respect to the safety of the electrical infrastructure, but implementation has been very much weak. Okay, this is something that is there. So guys, a public interest challenge is there. So today we need to use the data, we need to bring the best safety practices. Okay, the targets are to be taken, and the accidents by the electric shocks are to be minimized. So this is something that is provided in this entire article. And now we'll move to the next article. Now So guys, this particular article we'll see in GS with respect to the GS paper number 2, 3. Moreover, for prelims, this particular exam, it will be, this particular article will be important. What this article is talking about? It is talking about the Mayur bhanja superfood, that is the ant chutney, which is being proposed for the GI tag. Now GI tag, it means the geographical indication tag. So GI tag, it is a kind of a recognition which is given to a product, and if a product gets a GI tag, its marketability increases. Is it clear or not? Fine, its market. For example, Darjeeling tea. Now, the Darjeeling tea, it has been given a GI tag, geographical indication tag. So Darjeeling tea, this name, this title can be used only by the growers of the tea who are growing it into the Darjeeling. And Darjeeling, it has its distinct aroma, it has its distinct taste. And by the name of Darjeeling tea, this particular tea is famous around the world. And only the tea grown in Darjeeling can be sold by the name of Darjeeling tea. Why? Because it has been given the GI tag. Now, in the Mayurbhanj, that is in the Odisha, Mayurbhanj, Odisha, there is one particular type of chutney which is being prepared by the tribals. Now, this, how they actually make this chutney, it is very interesting. So basically, there are ants, chitia, ants. These are the weaver ants. So the chutney is being made by these ants. So these ants are grinded, and the chutney of these ants, it is very much popular into the Mayurbhanj, Odisha. It is being said that this particular chutney of the ants, it has a lot of health benefits. It is called as the kai chutney, and this kai chutney, it is very much rich in protein, calcium, zinc, vitamin B12, iron, magnesium, potassium, sodium, copper, fiber, and 18 amino acids. 18 amino acids. It boosts the immune system, keep diseases at bay. So therefore, because of the health benefits are there, the tribals, at the same time, it also has a very good taste as said by the tribal people. So this kai chutney is being suggested that it should be given a geographical indication. Is it clear or not? Fine. So how they make this chutney? Now these uh, ants, they basically stay on the trees. They collect their nest. They collect their habitation. From there they extract, and they are doing that thing. Not at all important for our exam, that how they make chutney. Not important. Fine. Please don't go in it. Now the kai family of the ants, they are very much abundant, and they have three types of ants: workers, major workers, and queens. Fine. So this is something about this. So guys, this year the Gucci mushroom, the question on the Gucci mushroom was there. Fine. So such kind of things are now UPSC asking. So therefore, a little bit you need to know about it. Then guys, this article, strains on India-Russia defense cooperation. It has come into the text and the context, but basically what this article is all about. So देखो what has देखो India and Russia, both the two countries have the defense cooperation. Russia supplies a lot of weaponry to India, but now what is happening? Russia is fighting the war with the Ukraine, and because Russia is fighting the war with the Ukraine, Russia is not in a condition to carry its weapon export to the India. Okay, so this article talks about the orders that have been placed by India. ठीक है, how many rifles order is placed, how many other kind of weaponaries orders are to be placed, and they are facing a little bit of delay. But by the time next year, let's say you are going to write the exam, or even this mains, even if you are going to write, by that time these particular things are going to get changed. Okay, fine. This is a transition that is going on right now. However, with respect to the UPSC exam, much substance is not there in this particular article, so unnecessarily not at all needed to read it. Fine. So that is all guys about the newspaper analysis today. So I hope that you have understood it. So guys, that is all, and please go to Telegram channel, join Telegram channel, and please make a habit every day that before you start seeing this newspaper analysis, you should have that synoptic notes in your hand, and at the same time you are seeing the article, you are reading it also, and in synoptic notes you are marking also. Do that particular thing, a good habit. So that is all about today. Now we'll meet tomorrow. Till then guys, please take care of yourselves. Thank you so much.